button. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat currently. Tiff is here. She made it just in time. Shout out to everyone's favorite moderator, Tiff. Mrs. Enforcer himself. Okay. Mrs. She's security at the door. You better keep y'all music over here. You know what I'm saying? Miss, don't play about my live stream now. She right here. Girl, I didn't disagree with you. I agreed with you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I never joined a Canadian family. A certain artist and podcaster left a nasty taste in my mouth. I hope y'all food is better. Girl, our food cooked good. I'm gonna tell you, hey, yo, Tiny and Tiff, let her know how good our food is over here, because our content is amazing. All right, we don't do that. We don't do that glazing, flip-flopping nonsense around here. We tell the truth around this mug. You understand me? We don't play about that nonsense. Real talk. Goodness gracious. I just gotta let you know, okay? And I give honest truth. I give honest truth around here. I tell the truth about Canada. Canada has a lot of problems that they like to hide, and we got to stop the hiding, because we got to address the problems. If we continue to hide from these problems, we will never get to a solution of what we need to do around this motherfucker. You know? But that's just me. That's just me. There's a lot more problems in this country than actual, like, positives. And I want to flip that scale, but it's going to take some work to make that happen. But little by little, we make it happen. Man, we don't play about it. Trust. Tiff knows. We don't play. Around here, we don't play. You know what I'm saying? But look, I almost forgot I hit the record button. So we're going to go ahead and get into this reaction first. All right, Mr. Ray Daniels himself. All right. So this video is titled Kendrick Lamar and SZA's Luther plus Drake Nokia plus Ricos equals... Nigga, what kind of equation is this? Sounds better already? Perfect. That's what I like to hear. But what kind of equation did you put together right here, brother? Equals less drill. Well, hold on a second. There's a lot that I want to speak about when it comes to drill. Because we're too comfortable in this lane. We've been dwelling in this lane far too long. Where's the... How do we expand from this? How do we elevate from this? Because I agree with the whole drill situation. Like, it's good for what it does. But the longevity behind it just shows that it's just not hitting right now. Ray be on some BS. Hold on a second. What do you mean Ray be on some... Girl, I want to know. What do you mean Ray be on some BS? Because this is one of my go-tos right here. I learn a lot from dude right here. I'm not even going to lie. Because I get a mixture of the business, the marketing, and the industry all in one right here. You know, that's why I give my time and listen to him. So I want to give him a chance, you know? Like, it's always good to give somebody a chance. I just pray that the powers up above can bless me into their community. You know what I'm saying? Please, Curtis King, I know y'all kicked out therapy, but let me in. I am not therapy, okay? I don't got an expensive mic where I got to tap to turn it on. We don't do that around here. We got old school technology. You understand me? But listen, y'all know I talk too much. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Yes, he does. That's interesting. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm giving it a chance. 8-minute video. I'm going to see what's going on, what he's talking about. Girl, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, the title of the video is confusing the heck out of me right now, and I'm just trying to get a better understanding. So that's why I want to give it a chance. So look, let me not talk no more. Let's go straight into it. Shout out to the community pulling up. I appreciate every single one of y'all pulling up, stopping by. Shout out to Ms. Mickey being brand new to the community. So appreciate you. And yeah, let's have some fun and check this out.
Dog, I've been saying this on record. If you can go back and...
And by the way, can y'all hear that okay? Because I know I've been having issues, some issues in the past. But we're here. We got our volume back, you know. He be contradictory. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. That math ain't mathin', brother. That's why I need to understand this. Let's give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. I agree with Tiff. But I tend to listen to what I truly believe in. And a lot of the things that he say I don't believe or maybe not understand. But what I do understand, I do believe wholeheartedly. But I want to give it a shot.
Look at any episode. I've been saying, I think rap is in trouble. Rap is in trouble. It's nothing but sex, murder, money.
Also, go back to like the old school.
Yeah, it's nothing
positive
sex.
What's poppin', Fina? Yeah, Flex. I see a lot of y'all saying Flex Mob. I see a lot of y'all saying Flex Mob. I kind of like the ring to that. Shout out TW for that name.
Rap. Sex, murder, and money. That's all it is. Sex, murder, and money. Dang. So when you think about, when I'm looking at it through the lens of that, it's like, shit, to be honest with you, that's one thing we gotta really celebrate Kendrick and Drake about, is because
they were positive.
At least they're not street rappers. At least they're like rapping about regular stuff. And we need more of that. But I think that there's a goal to kill the streets. I think that is in full motion. You gotta understand something. Black music is ran by corporations and streets. Yeah. The streets always override the corporations because nobody wants to get in their car and get put in the trunk. Because that's the street shit. So they're like, let him out of his contract, right? We ain't heard nobody getting hung out of a damn terrorist since Vanilla Ice, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like we know street politics rise over rap politics. So I think they're going to get rid of the streets. So corporate can control it. And I think it's going to be a little bit friendly, a little bit more contrived. There's going to be a lot of plants in the game, but that's because...
Tell me exactly what you mean by industry plants, and do these things actually...
The corporations are trying to get rid of the streets. The corporations are trying to get rid of the streets. I want to start there. I want to start there first. The corporations are trying to get rid of the streets. I understand the trying part first. But the reality is, the reality behind that statement is that it's not going to be true as long as the streets remain the streets. It's almost like on a scale of yin and yang. Our yin is technically the industry. Technically. To give y'all an easy example, the yin is the industry. Our yang is the streets. This is the balance that we have. I'm not agreeing with the industry plant thing because history has shown the industry plants that they have found, they're not substantial. They get a couple year run, like a couple years of a run, and then they're done. So he's definitely seeing it from a different perspective, but the perspective that I'm looking at is simply just where we are right now. We're still in a transitional period, but we need to understand, I don't even think there's an actual end to this period until we find more individuals that can fill the gaps that we are currently missing people in. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm trying to get to, Tiff, because it doesn't make sense to get rid of something that's your biggest cash cow. Okay? Sometimes you need those people to use. You need the individuals that just want to be famous, that just want social media fame. And sometimes unfortunately, because they're not educated in the ins and outs of the music industry, they're going to get used whether they like it or not. And sometimes that's the stepping stones that the industry uses to put themselves into better positions. So to get rid of that, in a sense, is not only idiotic, but unrealistic. And it's almost like the industry is showing like a little bit of ego if they do decide to do something like that. Because, okay, let's be honest about the streets right now. The streets currently is imploding on itself because all these niggas like to do is snitch on themselves. Let's keep it a buck. They go to Vlad. They go to Adam 22, DJ Academics. They're all snitching on themselves. You can include Wack 100 in there because Wack 100 got the information that they be snitching about. You know? They're all snitching on themselves, so the streets look kind of like slow. I'm not saying the R word, but they look kind of slow right now, so it's not really a good look for them currently. So I understand that the streets need some direction again. They need to get away from the individuals that are exposing them. or using them. It's tough to say they can get rid of it knowing that in reality there's no way. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They put insurance policies on rappers, so it makes zero sense. It makes zero sense to say that. That's what I'm saying. They're kind of showing their ego by saying something like that. Or for Ray Daniels to kind of pick up on that kind of pattern that they're displaying. So now I look at it a little different as like, instead of they're trying to, I ask the question, why do you want to get rid of that big sector that y'all can easily utilize? Y'all get y'all funding from these individuals. And you take your funding and put it towards artists that y'all think would have the longevity that you are looking for. It's almost like stock in a sense. Like you're trying to like buy low or buy at a certain price. But then when it gets to your big cash cows, you're selling them at high prices. It's a different kind of hustle. But I want to learn more, so let's keep going. I'm curious.
Actually exists in the industry?
I know that there are labels who, pick an artist or whatever and kind of spiff them up and put them in certain situation to try to garner attention, give them a little extra marketing, give them a little extra digital push, to trying to kind of generate stuff. It does happen. I mean, maybe I'm old school. It still comes down to talent too. So even if you kind of get off on one or two, if you ain't dope, it's gonna show. Mm-hmm. It's gonna show. It's gonna show quick. No matter what producer you work with, was in Pharrell, you was in with this one and that one, that's cool. But if you don't have something, it's gonna show. So that's why I always look at the industry plant thing with a weird thing, because it's like, how long is it gonna go? And labels are in it to make money, so you're not gonna just keep dumping in money into something that doesn't work.
If I had one issue with black culture, my issue with black culture would be that the streets have too much control over how we think.
Okay, I like that.
And the streets are controlled.
I kind of want to speak to what the other dude was talking about. I don't know why the volume is low on that. I want to speak to this individual right here for a second. First of all, I don't know who he is, but based on what he's saying, he is very familiar with the whole process of a supposed industry plant, like what we call them today. Sometimes a lot of people that we assume are industry plants are really not. But let's make it clear. We can easily tell who's the industry plant, whether we like it or not. Okay? Two easy examples is Ice Spice and Jack Harlow. And when they try to get Ice Spice out of here, look who they try to get. The Ice Spice clone, the taller, thick version of Ice Spice that they try to put on that didn't work. So that's an easy example right there, without a doubt. But I just find it interesting that it's almost like a lot of us are just still confused about the whole industry plant situation. It's easier to spot who is who. It's not hard to do that no more. But it kind of confused me when I see other people that are in the industry bring up that question, because you're there. So when I see the lady ask the question, I'm like, you're there. You're supposed to know. You don't throw up the question like you don't know. You know. We're supposed to be past this. At this point, we're supposed to be asking different kind of questions. With every year that goes by, our questions are supposed to evolve into better questions. I don't like that we're still on this. That's what I don't like. Because we can easily tell how their career starts based on who they work with, based on how often you see your face, based on the kind of music that they put out. Are they following a trend, or are they trying to they're trying to go through their own little process of finding themselves? You can easily tell who is who. It's not hard no more, you know? Like it's just getting to a point now where it's like we keep asking the same question, which is why we continue to look like we're stuck in the same era. And if we stop asking those questions and try to advance or just evolve our questions, we will be looking at different situations where we can still move forward with more defense, but it's like we don't want to move forward right now. And the music industry is kind of showing it because they don't know who to follow. Like, it's gotten to a point where the whole weird situation that people are talking about is really not weird. And you are weird for thinking that. Oh my God. Now, I don't know why the next clip, the volume is low, but I can barely hear it. I'm not even going to lie. But my volume is all the way up. So I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Let's keep going, though.
Work.
If I had one issue with black culture, my issue with black culture would be the streets have too much control over how we think.
Okay, I like that.
And the streets are controlled by people who want to keep it the way it is. We got to allow our culture to grow. And everybody black ain't from the streets. Everybody black don't have, everybody that's black, even if you lived in the hood and you were black, that doesn't mean you grew up on these street politics. It's almost like fans are like, oh, we can't fuck with that no more. And like, are you from the streets? No, but the streets said we can. It's like, I'll give you an example. Remember that kid that sung Corvette? Mm-hmm. I guess some information came out about him telling. He was 14. And the culture turned on him. He a snitch. He was fucking 14. His mother took him to the police station. Mm-hmm. If my mother took me to the police station at 14, I'm sorry, all y'all gangsters in the room, nobody fucked me up worse than Lorraine.
In his research, Dr. Morrison identified a paradox.
So for me, I just wish the streets didn't have such a hold on how our music culture operates. I'm telling you,
the insurance is one thing, but it's a requirement for white rappers too, or just black and brown ones. At that point, Tiny, you first of all, you're asking the right question. But now we're at a crossroad where it's like, it's based on what people tell us. And it's also, so you have one road where it's like, this is what they're telling us. But the other road is like, you got to be behind closed doors to know this. You know? The reality is, the answer to your questions that we'll never know. We'll never know unless they tell us. And you would have to work behind closed doors to get those answers. But watch this now. The reality is, you can't necessarily show that answer to everybody, because then we're going to look at the whole industry weird. So the answer to your questions that we will never fully know, but based on what they tell us, another answer I can give you is just the black and brown individuals, the black and brown artists, the black and brown rappers. That's what we can tell you right now. There might be some rappers out there that has insurance on them, but we'll never know, because they're just going to tell us about the black ones. You know? Because that's who we're dealing with right now. Like, that's, like, honestly, that is a really, really good question. And also remind me to unsubscribe to therapy. Remind me to unsubscribe to therapy, guy. I don't wanna see that name no more. All right, we don't associate with that name no more. You know what I'm saying? I just saw him drop a video or go live or whatever, but it is what it is. Situation's nasty. Shout out to Coco for letting me know about the situation. Yeah. We already look at them weird. Very valid, very true. We should look at the whole industry weird. It's a monster. Facts. But here's the thing about the industry. It's like what I said with the whole crossroads thing, Ms. Mickey. You're going to get the information that is shared. But there's so much information behind the closed doors that we will never know. So realistically, everything that we're saying, everything that we're dealing with, everything that we're talking about is the same information that they're sharing with us. You know? To fully understand what's going on, unfortunately, you're going to have to work within said companies. So that's the only thing I would say to that, to make it To make it not necessarily make it fair, but to just make it understandable, you know. Your boy $36, man, and Curtis King said you could have just asked, you could have just explained, you could have literally just explained like, yo, look, I lost my job and I'm on tough times right now. Is it possible for me to get the 500 to help myself stay afloat and keep pushing and continue to be the person that I am as a representative of the culture united that, by the way, Deleted put together. I did not know Deleted put that together. Yo, Deleted's different. Deleted's different, bro. I didn't know he put that together. That is crazy. But, yeah, that's all he had to say. And he didn't do that. But let's keep going with the video. I want to learn more. I want to see what's going on here.
Our music culture operate. I'm telling you, the streets are dry. Look what's happening, guys. Sean Kingston is getting caught up in it. You got
Sean Kingston is not the streets.
Big U. They took a whole. They making this about him. This man had been in that same seat y'all sitting in. We just talking, and now they making this man like he was a leader of a criminal organization. If he wasn't. He didn't have enough money to do it. How's he lead a criminal organization and they would start here raising money? It's just weird to me. Yeah. But they can lock anybody up for anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they decide to look into anyone and do a witch hunt, they can fucking find a way to lock anybody up, and they can make anybody difficult. And I believe that they're sending a message to the streets.
Nah, for sure.
Like the streets is dead. The streets is dead. They using Rico acts. First of all, let me tell you guys something. So it's this documentary you guys should all watch on Netflix about the mafia. It's like something like Catching the Mafia, but they talk about this operation to take down the mafia where they enforced this new thing called the Rico Act. The Rico Act was created to take down criminal organizations that were operating. Now, the question is, are these rappers criminal organizations?
No.
Now,
I don't think so.
No. It depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
Because look at it from this angle. Look at it from this angle. If you guys all follow me, right? You guys all do anything for me, and I go outside and somebody piss me off, and I be like, nigga, what? And then y'all jump them. I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem organized because y'all just looking at me like that's big homie. We're gonna make sure he's straight. But they can paint that as these are your minions, and they can put me at the top and then put y'all faces there and say these guys do. They can paint anything they want when they want to.
Yeah.
That's why the streets is dry. Any nigga playing the streets is gonna get caught in some shit. So you gotta be careful. You see niggas talking about indictments coming down on two famous rappers who I'm not gonna say because I'm not gonna be a person on the internet to perpetuate. Because one of them niggas is my nigga, right? I got his number. Every time I need him, he hit me. And one of them, I'm cool with his team. So like, why would I get excited that this is happening? When anything, I would want to encourage these guys to get as far away from the streets as possible.
Yeah.
And take every nigga that's smart enough and wants to do it with you.
I don't like that. Where do I start? Okay. I feel like it's our fault. I feel like it's our fault that the streets are in the unfortunate circumstance that they're in. Let me explain in a sec. Because we got to a point a couple years back where we wanted more. We wanted more. We wanted more from them. Because we were so comfortable with drill, with trap, with gang culture. At one point we got very comfortable with it. I'm still trying to understand this. Oh. I understand the equation now. But let me finish my point. Because we were so welcoming into listening to more of like music that relates back to like gang culture, to street culture, it gave the music industry an opportunity to pull in all these different individuals from these environments and put them in position to be the success that they are. But at the same time, while you're doing that, you're also opening the doors for the industry to kind of control what happens in the street based on the different puppets that they've chosen to be leaders of these different areas. Right? So now we're at a point where it's like the industry almost has full control of the gangs and the street shit, to the point where it's like they can easily paint pictures and say, oh, because this person messed with you in a certain kind of way and you got mad, and like what he's saying, the individuals that are under him did something to that person. Now we look at you as the leader to this shit, when in reality, the person that they chose was a civilian. So now we're at a crossroad where it's like, you're choosing the puppets to use and painting them as this person, when in reality you're pretty much creating a gateway to the head of this whatever gang this is, or if it's really a gang or not. Most of the time they're not even gangs, you know. So it's like the streets need to fall back a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, the streets need to fall back because the door is too open on them. I don't know if anybody really sat and think about it. Do you ever notice how welcoming the industry was at one point for all these individuals that should not have the light on them? Do you ever notice that? It's strange, but because the music sounded good, we were comfortable with it. What's poppin', Quickie? We got SSB in the chat. What's good, SSB? To the whole therapy thing, I kind of saw what you were saying before, Tiny. Of them just handling in a poor way. I'm just saying that for entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? That whole situation, first of all, you're never going to see a reaction come out of me for anything that happened in that moment, because really and truly, I care about Culture United. I care about all these different platforms with their own little like groups together and on like a kind of like a podcast situation. But it's like, really and truly, I only want to focus on the content that kind of pushes the conversation forward and not focus on the content that's going to hold us back. I just want to say that first, because it just got to a point where it's like, both, like Curtis King admitted that he could have handled it better. It's a learning experience, just like the last Sunday was a learning experience for this live, you know? It's all learning experience. We're all learning. We're all evolving. We're all trying to understand each other. We're all trying to work together with each other. I want to focus on that. I don't want to focus on the conflict. So you're never going to see a reaction out of me because of that little situation. I just want to clear that up. You know? Y'all understand, I like to joke around a lot because I have a love and passion for comedy, you know? I told y'all many times, like, this channel was supposed to be on comedy first before we even think about going to music. You know? But here we are today. The situation that happened with the beef changed everything, so it is what it is. But just want to put that out there. I'm still subscribed to dude, so it's not even an issue for me. Just want to put it out there, let y'all know, make it clear what's going on, what I'm saying, what I'm not saying, what I'm joking about. Cool. Let's just keep going with this point though, because like I was saying, the streets got to fall back because they're exposed right now. All these Ricos, regardless of how it starts or how it comes together, they're being exposed. And the more that they continue to talk is the worse they're making it. They're making it worse for themselves. So at this point, you're going to have to fall back. So I think at this point, I can explain the equation that he laid out. So what Ray Daniels is saying is that Kendrick Lamar and SZA Luther plus Drake, but Drake minus the Nokia, not basically saying Drake minus all the bullshit, plus the Ricos equals less drill, and because we have less drill, you can add more industry plants. So basically, in his equation, says that he still wants Drake around in his equation, but the Drake that he's referring to is a more grown-up Drake, a Drake that's learned from his mistakes and can actually rap about whatever without making it weird, like with the whole Cade Cunningham thing. So I think that's what his equation is explaining. I hope. You cooking? Boy, that's all I know how to do. I just don't like how Therapy trying to make Deleted pack him out when Deleted is for us, the culture. So I hope he don't. He's not. Yeah, exactly. So Ms. Mickey said he's not. I think the youngsters think drill is supposed to be rap confessions. I agree with that point. What's good? What's good? We got Natasha in the building. What's popping? What's popping? We got Natasha here. How you doing, girl? How you doing? I hope you're doing all right. He's West Coast, so he's gonna be tight anyway. Don't kill me. But speaking to Tiny's point, where I think the youngsters think drill is supposed to be rapped confessions. Think about this. Look at the leaders. Look at the leaders for drill. Okay, you got Chief Keef. You got G Herbo, or back when G Herbo was Lil Herb, and you got Lil Durk. You can add Lil Reese. You can add who else? There's some other people that were rolling with Lil Reese and all them. Fredo Santana. You can add Fredo Bang. You can add like you can add all these different drill artists into the mix. You can also look at the UK, because some of the UK artists do the similar thing, but it doesn't really affect them there like it affects us here. But look at the leaders. That's where the youngsters are kind of like, well, no, I wouldn't say youngsters, but like that's where the kids were getting the example from. So the kids are simply just running with the example, and the way they think how they can be innovative is go into more detail about the situations they're rapping about in their tracks. That's why we birthed a King Von, you know? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's why we have those, and like you have King Von like explaining full stories of what he done. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the whole like, don't quote artists based on their lyrics, I kind of understand why they wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Y'all exposing yourselves. I understand why y'all wanted to. Nigga, what'd you send me? What the hell did you send me? Drill is over if Drake wins the lawsuit. I'm standing on that. Drill rap was never supposed to go commercial, but a certain artist already planted in the industry made it cool, so it got away from the urban street culture. Absolutely. Absolutely. But, okay. What if using said artist from your point as the puppet, like I explained before, to be the leader, be the influence to your point, to your statement? You know what I'm saying? Basically, they're taking a puppet and turning him into an influencer to be the influence for the kids, like the younger rappers, you know? It's interesting. I ain't gonna lie. That's how you know the industry is planning years ahead, and they will never plan in a moment. These things, it's almost like a strategy they put together when they go out and find these different people. How can we use them in the long run? It's probably one of the questions that they ask. Because they don't pull anybody. You know? They're pulling certain people and putting them in position to win. That was the purpose. Exactly. Yeah, you know, that's how it be. That's how it be for real. It's just gone to a point where it's like, we're still stuck here. We're still stuck in this process, in this moment, in this era. We're stuck in an in-between era. And we've been stuck here for a while. How do we move forward? How do we advance? How do we take one step forward? How do we get to the next flight of stairs? It's crazy, you know. But let's keep going.
Do you feel any of this is like an attack on like hip hop at all?
I just said the streets is under attack. The streets is dead. This is an attack on us. They're going. Listen, drill rap. By the way, and I think it's gonna be the best thing that happens to us.
Wow.
Rap. Dog, I've been saying this on record. If you can go back and look at any episode, I've been saying I think rap is in trouble. Rap is in trouble. It's nothing but sex, murder, money.
Also, go back to like the old school.
It's nothing
positive.
You gotta know how to rap.
Sex, murder, and money. That's all it is.
Vina, that's the self-destruction part I was kind of speaking to or alluding to earlier, because we're at a moment where it looks like it's gonna implode on itself. That's the problem. I think these people look for leaders instead of just leading, standing on their own ish. But hey, Tiff, that's a good point. But watch this now. This is where parenting and understanding the ins and outs of growing a child comes into play now, because what you're saying is starting to turn towards outside of music. When we talk about leaders and your point, now we're kind of turning away and looking at, why aren't we influencing or trying to grow new leaders? And why is it that everybody wants to follow somebody? So when you speak about leaders, that's where we got to turn outside music and look at our situation outside the window of the music industry. That's where we got to look out and say, okay, what's going on in the environment? What's the climate looking like? You know? So that's also one example of how music is going to start the connection between all the bad things that's been happening over the years. Because the reality is, music connects to every one of them single motherfuckers. You know? And you can't run from it. You can't hide it. It's just gonna, it's in your face. It's going to be there all the same. You can't deny it. It's right there. It's right there. You know? So those are the questions we should be asking too. Like, why isn't there more leaders? Why is there so many followers? Not saying that you can't have it, but you know, you got to think, you know, why isn't there more people that can't think for themselves? You know, regardless if it's a boy or girl, man or woman, why isn't there more individuals that can think for themselves? You know, and the answer that you would get would tie to the living situation, but also it would tie to the music that they intake. It's a very extensive answer. I'm not gonna lie. It's the kind of answer where you would have to put together an essay.
It's sex, murder, and money. Dang. So when you think about, when I'm looking at it through the lens of that, it's like shit. To be honest with you, that's one thing we gotta really celebrate Kendrick and Drake about, is because.
Oh yeah, they were
because
positive.
at least they're not street rappers.
Yeah,
at least they're like rapping about regular stuff.
Yeah.
And we need more of that. But I think that there's a goal to kill the streets. I think that is in full motion. You got to understand something. Black music is ran by corporations and streets. Yeah. The streets always override the corporations, because nobody wants to get in a car and get put in the trunk, because that's the street shit. So they're like, you know, let him out of his contract, right? We ain't heard nobody get hung out of a damn terrorist since Vanilla Ice, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like we know street politics rise over rap politics.
I'm not on a terrace. What about Shabba Ranks? Man, y'all crucified him, bro. Talking about Vanilla Ice. Come on, bro.
So I think they're gonna get rid of the streets, so corporate can control it, and I think it's gonna be a little bit friendly, a little bit more contrived. There's gonna be a lot of plants in the game, but that's because these labels can't completely monetize sex, money, murder music because they don't give you, like, dog, Lil Durk was far away from it.
Oh yeah,
they still caught him.
He was switching up his
See
whole
what I'm trying to say?
lifestyle.
Like, he was far away from it. He was making millions of dollars, far away from it. They still caught him.
Yeah, got the keys to the city and everything.
They still caught him. They caught Puff. So that's all I'm saying is the streets under attack. And I want more of us to start focusing on what's really happening around us so we can be ready and prepared for what the future looks like I am. Like, that's why I dropped the Kid album. That's why I'm dropping Kid's music, because it's like, this rap shit is dangerous, and I think that it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Most of these rappers have their hand dirty. Yeah. Most of them do. And it's not their hands are dirty, but when you one person removed from the streets, if you can make one phone call and talk to somebody in the projects, you are one person removed from that hood shit. That one person in the project can always call you. You one person removed. So all these rappers are connected to something. Street is just how the feds and how the police want to play it and play with you, right? That's why they went after Irv Gotti. That's why they went after him. It was like, we know you ain't really a gangster, but we gonna go after you because you funding the gangsters. Dang. So it's just a different game, and I'm telling you, they're about to crack down on the streets. And this is not no hunch.
Hold on, is this video
done?
This
is just what I'm seeing.
Okay.
I'm paying attention to the lingo.
One thing I realized. What the fuck? Get off my screen. One thing I noticed is that it's not necessarily they're targeting the streets. They're not necessarily targeting the streets. Did she really say Baka's really nice? I'm like, what? But going back to my point, one thing I noticed from like kind of like the actions the industry is taking, they're not necessarily targeting the streets. This is how you know they're really the master manipulators, and they're effing dangerous. But they're not targeting the streets. They're targeting certain aspects or certain people that follow the streets or that are kind of street culture, but they're targeting the ones that are simply just unorganized. That's who they're going after. They're going after the people that don't have their shit together. And that's... Yo, do you understand how important it is to get your shit together, bruh? Yo, they're going after the people that are loose cannons. The people that just don't know no better. The people that just don't understand what code is. That don't get that, yo, there's just certain things that even though you from this environment, you from this hood, you're from this place, there's just some shit that you just don't do. They're going after the people that just don't give a fuck. That's who they're going after. And they're using them as puppets, making them think that they're top shit. When in reality, my nigga, you got strings to your back, bruh. You out here looking like a slave. Yo. Nah, Lil Durk started trying to change at the last minute. He knew he was gonna get caught. The ad was crazy. Hell no, we don't need to hear that whole thing. I'm not hearing that shit, you crazy. But yo, like, man. I wish people would see that part. I really wish people would see that part. But it's gonna take eons before they even notice what's going on in front of them. Yo, because y'all think y'all know what you're doing. Y'all getting played. Y'all getting played for real. Holy, that is crazy. That is crazy. That is so crazy. They're just simply targeting people that are just dumb. Y'all just dumb. And because y'all dumb, you're easy to use. And then when you look at the past and the kind of individuals that were kind of like in the spotlight, yo, That is crazy. That is crazy. So that also kind of that adds to the point why there's so many followers, because they're simply recruiting other followers and making them false prophets or false gods. In other words, you're just making them into liars. Yo, marketing is an evil thing, bro. Yo, they been getting played. Facts. That is crazy. Oh my goodness. So at this point, I'm gonna open up. At this point, I'm gonna open up the Discord. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Discord now because oh my god. Oh, it's getting spooky out here. It's getting spooky out here, bruh. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna go ahead and send out some invites. Join if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine. But man. Also, you know what, let me go ahead and do this while I'm here. Hello.
Yo.
Hey, buddy. We got Coco in the chat, y'all. What's good, man?
Yeah, what's up, everybody?
Alright. If you're interested in joining, I keep messing that up. Hold on. If you're interested in joining. Oh, there's Coco. That's crazy, isn't it? We'll put the Discord in the chat right there. That's crazy. Yeah, Coco showed up in the chat. That's wild. That is so wild. That is so. Look at you.
Wild Coco appears.
Look at you dotting your eyes and all that. Oh, we got okay. We got a Kira here. Okay, that's what's up. I see you watching.
Yeah, what's up, bro? What are you up to? What are you guys up to?
Oh well, we just live right now on YouTube. What are you saying?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's going on today? Like, what's happening? What's
Wait,
popping?
you just joined just cause?
Yeah, I just joined just cause.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Like, I just had I have family, man. I got family over. You know, well, my niece and nephew, they're just here, so yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Nah, we just went over a video from Ray Daniels about what he thinks is going to happen in the future.
I missed it.
Shit, man, go watch it.
What feature? Feature of what? Like music or?
Yeah, music.
I don't know, bro. What all did he say? I mean, I missed this. I'm a little late, so I'm curious.
Yeah, you're a little late. So I feel like I should just send you a link.
Yeah, send me a link. For sure, send me a link.
Send you a link, cause
I feel like, bro, I don't know, man. You know the weird thing about music, bro?
What?
I'm gonna say the one weird thing about music is like, how the hell